Hello, and welcome back to my workshop. This video is going to discuss ways that I organize and sort all of my Kadee couplers. So if you're a model railroader, you know that Kadee makes a lot of different couplers. I'm not going to even bother talking about the scale head couplers. I don't use them. Something about them just doesn't look right to me. I think the shape of the knuckle is off, but I don't find them pleasing at all. I know they're closer to scale size. I know the ones that I use are too big. That's fine. All of my equipment has the same oversized coupler on it. They operate flawlessly. I think they look okay. I'm happy with them. So I'm aware of the existence of Kadee scale head couplers, but not for me. So most of what I use is going to be the number 148 Worcester coupler, which is a standard shank centered head coupler. When I need an offset head, I tend to use the 20 series couplers. So even with that limited number of options that I stock for Kadee couplers, I still have a tremendous stock of Kadee couplers. In this video, I am not going to talk about how to install Kadee couplers, how to choose the best Kadee coupler for your installation, how to do Kadee conversions on locomotives, or even how to adjust coupler height. This video is strictly talking about how I keep my Kadee couplers organized. When I first started organizing small parts, I was lucky to find this set of stackable containers at a craft store. And I started using them for my scratch building components. For instance, if I wanted an 18-inch grab iron, right there, I just unscrew that, get out what I need, put the cap back on, nothing gets lost, nothing gets spilled. A-line stirrup step for the side sill, right there. Just get it, screw the cap back on, nothing gets lost. These worked so well, I knew there had to be something I could use for my Kadee couplers. Now, I have a lot of Kadee 148 Worcester couplers. That's what I use the most. And I found these things called lockups at the Container Store in Orlando. And these right here, I got 4 of them. They stack lid to base, lid to base, lid to base. I never take the containers off the other lids. I keep them all together. The top is where I keep my Kadee number 148 Worcester couplers. And when I first stocked this, I bought 2 100 coupler bulk packs, and that kind of filled it up. And I got it down about half empty. I bought another 100 coupler bulk pack and filled it up again. It's about half empty again. I think I'm due for another bulk pack to get my stock back together. In the bottom section of the container, this is where I keep my supply of the number 242 black box coupler boxes. These snap together and they hold the number 148 Worcester coupler perfectly, and I always keep plenty of extras on hand. These right here I use in almost all of my coupler installations. That's why they're in the biggest part of this container. Right beneath the couplers, I keep the narrow profile coupler box, the number 262. And these come in a little blister pack. And I don't use them as often, so I don't keep as many on hand as spares. But these are very good for an installation where you can see the coupler box. Since they're narrower, they look a little bit more prototypical. But if the coupler box is pretty well hidden, I go with the number 242. The last kind of coupler box I keep in here is the one that matches the number 30 profile, and that's the coupler box number 252. And these are very handy in limited access areas, and they match the basic dimensions of a 30 series coupler box, and they've worked very well with the Worcester couplers. I don't use them all that often. I don't think any modelers use number 30 series couplers or those all that often, but when you need them, you have to have them. The Stratton and Gillette Railroad has this large box containing all the different Kadee couplers that will work in any situation where a number 148 Worcester coupler won't work in one of those 3 standard boxes. Permanently attached to the outside of this box is a chart that shows the 9 different coupler arrangements with the 3 different coupler lengths and the 3 different coupler heights. So over here on the right, just for example, we'll open up the compartment that contains the Kadee number 27 coupler. Each one of these compartments holds about 8 pairs of Kadee couplers. When I get down to about 4 pairs, I just buy 2 more envelopes and fill the package up the rest of the way. That way I always have couplers on hand, the right style for when I need them. The 2 stacks on the right contain all the different variations of the Kadee 20 series couplers. This container set right here has number 21 through 24. This one has number 25 through 29. There's also the number 20 coupler. The number 20 coupler isn't actually part of the 20 series. It is a different shanked coupler that fits in a standard European NEM coupler box. I bought 4 of these a long time ago thinking I might run across a need for them one day. I've never needed them. In case I ever do need them, I have them. They're ready to go. Standard KD washers come in 2 styles, gray, which is 10,000th of an inch thick, and red, which is 15,000th of an inch thick. These are sized to fit over the post on a Athearn train car to space the truck up. And because of that, the inside diameter of the washer is really too large to use for truck spacing when you use a KD set of trucks. I found these very thin nylon number 2 washers with the wide flange very effective for raising car bodies underneath the bolster where the truck mounts. And if you need something a little thicker, I also was able to find these 30,000ths of an inch thick fiber washers with a number 2 hole in them. And both of these are much better choices for spacing up a KD truck because they give you less truck wobble. There's a lot more contact area and just works a whole lot better. These are some knuckle springs. Knuckle springs always go flying. You better have a lot of those on hand. And this contains truck bolster springs for the KD trucks. I've only ever needed to replace one. So I think I have more than a lifetime supply of those on hand. These are the KD Black 256 coupler screws. Now there's 2 different styles of these. One of them has a cross head, kind of like a Phillips head up at the top, and the other one has a slotted head. I only save the ones with the cross head. I don't know if KD has 2 suppliers or 2 different sets of molds. And then there's the 256 brass screws. All of those are 3/8 of an inch long. And I keep a big supply of those on hand because you really need those quite often. Next, I have these 1/4 inch long 256 nylon screws. These were a great find. They are perfect for holding coupler boxes onto flat cars and to gondola cars. Then I have a supply of number 2 brass washers. These are necessary when you're spacing out the mounting screw for coupler boxes. Sometimes the screw hole just isn't deep enough, and this is an easy solution. This next container has a bunch of different oddball KD couplers in it. The very first one we're going to open up is the KD number 5. They're not really oddball, but they're definitely obsolete. The number 148 whisker coupler is almost always a better choice. The top compartment has the KD number 4s in it. These are an antique and obsolete coupler design. These couplers feature a large rectangular opening in the shank of the coupler where a spring goes, and then the coupler pivots, and these 2 ears force the spring to go into compression. That brings it back to center. They mount in their own metal coupler box that has a rivet in the center you peen over to hold it in place. I did encounter one antique train car kit that required these couplers for the molded in coupler boxes. I bought them. If I ever need them again, I have them, but I doubt I ever will. These are KD number 6s. These are a round holed coupler with a long shank, and I never use them in their boxes. They're kind of a precursor to the 30 series coupler, but they work on some steam locomotive pilots. And then beneath them, there's the KD number 8, which has a slightly different geometry, but a very similar design to the number 6. And again, the only place I've really found where these work well is on steam locomotive pilots. Require some modification to get to center properly, and you really can't mount them in their own coupler box in that application, but they will get you out of a jam if you want a functioning coupler on the front of a steam locomotive. The number 4, the number 6, and the number 8 are no longer cataloged by KD. So if you want these couplers, you have to look on the secondary market. That's train shows or eBay. It's nice to have them, but they're probably not something you can't live without. These are the conversion kits for the Stewart F units. This is KD number 450, and these brackets go onto the Stewart F units, and they decrease the space between the locomotives to an appropriate length. It's a brilliant design that solves the only problem that I have with the Stewart Kato F units. This box is where I keep my supply of the standard coupler boxes that work with the number 5 couplers and the number 20 couplers. These are the number 232 and 234 coupler boxes. The number 5 and the number 20 series use a similar coupler centering spring, and they go in this box. The only difference between the 2 boxes is that the number 234 is made for the short shank couplers, and it's rounded on the front. You need to mount the short shank couplers in the curved box because if they go all the way to the side on a standard coupler box, they can jam up a little bit. This tool is the KD Spring Pick. I have not seen one of these in a hobby shop in a very long time. I don't even know if KD even makes this anymore, but you should look for it. It says on the handle right there, KD Spring Pick, It has a little nub on the end that is perfect for picking up small knuckle springs. And you just take it, stab it in between the coils of the spring, and then you can pick the spring up, very carefully put it in place, and the spring is less likely to go flying. It's a great tool. If you can find it, you should get it. And with that, we have reached the end of this video. I want to thank you for tuning in. Please make time to come back to my workshop again.